We're on. We're on. Welcome to episode 2 of the Higher Level podcast. So we're back again. Tonight we're joined on the couch. It's Higher Level head coach James Doolan, and he's right, a familiar face for most MMA fans in Scotland. UFC lightweight Stevie Ray. Thanks for coming on, Stevie. I know it was a wee bit obviously delayed tonight in starting, but we've got there in the end. And Stevie, you're obviously on. You've got something interesting coming up at Polaris 11 against Paddy Pimblett. So tell us a wee bit about how that grappling match came about.
Basically I just got a message from the guys at Polaris on, I think, Instagram. Asking if I'd be down for doing a grappling match against Paddy the Barry. And I was right up for it. I've not got anything kind of lined up now. Waiting to hear about my next fight from the UFC. So I thought this would be good for something to focus on, motivation and stuff. So yeah.
See all some stuff like this. Does that keep you ticking over until you get obviously you're an MMA fighter, but grappling side and training for that, does that just keep you focused and also strengthen your grappling game?
Aye, that's it, because I mean sometimes you can lose motivation to train, even though like it's basically my job, you know. It just gives you that kind of better focus, and it helps you train harder, focus on certain areas. So I'm gonna try and get more kind of active in between UFC fights.
Aye.
or MMA fights. I try and do a bit more kind of grappling and stuff.
And for you, James, obviously as Stevie's coach, do you like it when you see the guys that are your MMA for your fight team going into different things like especially grappling, because that's the one a lot of fighters go into in between fights? Do you think that's something that benefits them?
Yeah, I think it's good. With Stevie, I think he's got a keen interest in grappling, so I think when he's done with UFC, he would probably like to compete grappling. There'll be sub-only stuff, and we travel about and kind of push it to a high level. Usually we try and encourage most of the guys to compete as much as possible in grappling stuff, just for getting used to competing. The more they compete, the better. Obviously, Stevie's one of our more accomplished guys. He's been competing for a while and stuff, so anytime we can get like a high profile match like this against another good grappler, and Polaris is like a massive platform for grappling. It's one of the kind of premier ones in the world just now. It keeps his name out there. It keeps him focused. We can kind of approach it a wee bit like an actual fight camp, a wee bit, have a look at Paddy's style and stuff. But it's all positive. There's nothing negative about it. It's not like he's maybe took a kickboxing fight or something. He maybe got a cut, or he can go in there and grapple at that, and he'll be absolutely fine. And UFC can come and offer him a fight the week or two after, whenever it comes, and he'll be good to go.
Is that something you need to see? We obviously jump into something like Polaris 11. Do you need to clear that with UFC or speak to them about it?
Not that I'm aware of anyway. So I didn't think so. I noticed Matt Casey's on the card as well, and he's actually matched for UFC Copenhagen. So so I'd imagine it's all right. But
I think they let you grapple. I don't think they'd like to take anyway you're maybe going to get a concussion.
I think it would be different if it was like exactly like a boxing fight or something like that. But grappling, I think you see guys doing it. Another guy I've seen doing it. The Brazilian guy, what's his name again? Black belt.
Gilbert Burns.
Gilbert Burns. I noticed he kind of still competes in grappling and does some stuff as well. So.
I saw quite a few years. I remember Brendan Schaub.
Yeah, and Smith's doing it now as well.
Is he?
He's got in a team event. He's got a team in. A lot of them do. I think a lot of them do. It's just second nature to most of them. You don't even really see it, but it's not a big deal to them.
Is it just really a way because it seems like sometimes you can go a while for getting matched for the UFC. I don't really know how the matchmaking works. So is it just something it keeps you going and keeps you in the gym focused?
I think it just really depends sometimes. I think it depends on kind of how you're previous fights I've went as well, because I remember obviously when I started my career, I went 3-0, and it just felt like, you know, it was maybe just the way the schedule worked out as well, though. I mean, I took a 2-week notice fight on Poland, and then I pretty much got marched straight away after that. But that's because it was in Scotland, and then again I won in Scotland, and then I got marched again straight away for Ireland. So it's maybe just the way the kind of schedule worked out then. 3 kind of European events, but I'd fight every week if I could. So it's just between obviously the matchmakers and between my management. My manager's Ali Abdelaziz, so he kind of takes care of all of that.
It's just that, so for you it's just a case of sitting and waiting for the phone. Obviously you're active in social media as well, because seems like a lot of fights are made that way now. Obviously getting on social media, getting out there, calling guys out or stuff like that. Aye, same who's going. Tell us a wee bit. What was it? Who was it you were speaking to?
That's happened a few times. And you see that, like, guys will verbally agree to a fight, and it just makes the matchmaking a wee bit easier. You know, I'd imagine Sean's got he's obviously amazing at what he does, but I can imagine sometimes he might have his work cut out for him. He's matchmaker for like 600 fighters, so I mean, happy days probably for him if if the fight makes sense and 2 fighters agree. Jared Gordon, he posted up saying that he was looking for a fight. He wanted to fight in his hometown, New York. It's November 2nd, and I'm still waiting on a fight. I was hoping to maybe get on the Copenhagen card, which is then like roughly about 6 weeks away. Which, to be honest, I'll still, I'd still be ready for that if something did come up. I've been training. I've been pretty much training anyway, and now I've got this match with Paddy. Obviously, I've kind of been focusing on that a little bit, but I've not just done it where I'm only coming in for grappling. I'm still pretty much MMA training, and yeah, I'm just pretty much waiting to see what happens. But I mean, my weight's fairly low. I'm taking over, and I mean, hopefully I can get. I don't know what I'll be taking fights all the time where you've got 4 weeks, but I'm pretty much. I'd be good to go in 4 weeks if I really needed to.
If you got the call for Copenhagen, would it feel like a short notice fight? Because you've been training MMA, but I'm assuming you've been doing extra stuff as well. Obviously, because the Polaris one, the Copenhagen card are quite close. So would it make it easier to step into the Copenhagen card?
To be honest, it's more just to make the weight. I think sometimes fighters and that look too much in it, and there is obviously a science to it, and the world's evolving, and there is game plans and get ready, and you have to get set. But I'll easily go 3-5s the more. The cage is there. Get somebody in, I'll do 3-5s, and I'd be able to do it. So pretty much just to make the lightweight class. But I'd like to obviously just be active and fight all the time. But I'm training away the now anyway. So as long as I get enough notice to kind of comfortably make the weight and not have to starve myself like the first fight I took. Apart from that, I'm be good to go.
Would you ever think it? Because we've seen this a lot now. We've spoke about it with like guys like Poirier and people like that moving up. Would you ever, if you got the opportunity, would you fight at a different weight class like 170, or where would you sit with that? No having to cut any weight or anything like that.
I'll fight anybody. I know that some people say that. I've heard people saying it. I've even witnessed it. People have told me I'll fight anybody, and then I've gave them the opportunity, and then the excuses start coming up. I will fight anybody. Obviously, now it is my job. Back in the day, I'll fight somebody for fun. I'll just, I was pretty much doing it every weekend anyway, but it was just outside a pub or something. But I mean, if the money's right, and I'd fight anybody. I'd fight Brock Lesnar at heavyweight if I'm getting enough money for it, and And I'm not going to just take it thinking I'm going to lose either. I always believe I've got a chance to win, regardless of who it is.
Where do you stand with that, James? I'm putting the hypotheticals here. I'm just curious. If Stevie got offered something at 170, would you advise against that, or would it just totally depend on who it was?
Depend on the opponent. He's fought at 170 before. He was pretty successful there as well, but he's perfect at 70. Like he's no massive at 70, but he's not small at 70. The style he employs as well, the 70 suits him. The kind of game at that weight class is perfect for him. I know there is guys that can go up. I think that the talk of that 165 pound limit would have been an option as well, but it would have been small at 165 pound. We did at one point. We did toy with the idea of going down to featherweight. But Ed Lewis son going into featherweight, that maybe the explosiveness or whatever. So 70 is absolutely perfect for me. He went to the PI and done the tests, and his numbers are comparable with the rest of the guys at 70. So there's no point for him to move. And if you ask him, are you firing in an open weight tournament? He's going to do it. That's what fighters do. It's no. You shouldn't ask the fighter. Like, do you want to fight this guy? Because real fighters are always going to say yes. That's why you need guys like me to look after him.
Is Stevie somebody you need to run a wee bit?
Sometimes, so he'd fight like he would fight anybody. Like he's fought Nicholas Masoki and stuff before, who went on the UFC. He was a massive welterweight. He was like 6'2",
I think the difference, like that you've got to kind of think about, like, and like James or my manager would need to be a bit more kind of like, nah, we can't do that. Is more because like it's my career, and if it doesn't go well, I think it would be different if, like, right, you've got 5 years in the UFC, win, lose, draw, it doesn't matter. You've got 5 years guaranteed. Then I think it would just be like, we'll take whoever can win, and I'd maybe. But when it's a case of, well, you lose this, and especially my next fight, like, it's probably no secret now, like, if I lose my next fight, that's probably me done with the UFC. You never know, but I mean, I'm 6-4 in the UFC, 6 wins, 4 losses. It's still no bad, especially considering the certain guys I've fought: Leonardo Santos, Paul Felder, Ross Pearson, Joe Lozon. You know, a lot of top guys, and it is the Champions League MMA. But I'm the only kind of person. Well, obviously there's Jojo and a couple of other ones, but I've had tough fights. I've had 10 fights in the UFC. I think I'm the only person to have double figures in it. But it's a tough game.
Especially that. I think sometimes see people look for the outside that maybe are not right involved in MMA, or the casual fans. You would maybe say they look at the UFC and they look at maybe a few losses and that, and they don't really understand just how hard it is just to get 10 fights in the UFC or get into double figure fights.
It's quite funny. One of my partner's friends' mums we kind of bumped into her outside Costa the other day, and she's like, "What the fuck's happening with you?" Like, I'm like, and I just wasn't sure what she was on about. I was like, "What do you mean?" What? She's like, "When the fuck are you going to win a fight again?" I'm like, fucking hell. Alright, nice to see you as well, but nah, just obviously folk, like the non-educated people, like the non-folk that are right in the UFC and understand it, like, they forget that this is the highest game in the world. Like, it's like the Champions League. It's like, you know, if I'm maybe no a Conor McGregor to the non kind of educated people, or Khabib or whatever, but I fight in the same league as them. And obviously I would need to work my way up to fight these guys, but you know, it's like, imagine somebody playing football and they've got to try and test themselves against Messi and Ronaldo, and it's just name after name after. And in the UFC, you know, there's some guys that even at the lower level, it's the biggest league in the world, so there might be a guy that nobody really knows that well, and they're an absolute beast.
It's a proving ground as well, and some guys come into the UFC with big reputations, and it turns out they're maybe not as good as thought. Other guys come in slightly under radar, and it turns out they're outstanding fighters. And the other thing you notice with the UFCs, some guys you get to the top versus other guys, the paths can be different. Some paths are, know that they're easy, but some paths are easier than others depending on where your matchups go and stuff like that. It's, you as a coach, is that ever something that frustrates you when you see people online or that?
I think getting in is hard, but the now it's there's options there. There's avenues there that's a bit easier, like the contender show. Tough sometimes. Some of the seasons are tough. Some of the guys come through that awareness are good. The fact that the show is more regional now is always going to help guys get in. Like both Stevie got signed as a cage world champion with a show coming to Poland, which was a European platform, and he was champion at the biggest show in Europe at the time. And Danny was the same. They came to Glasgow, so they signed another Scottish guy. So the regional element definitely makes it a little bit easier to get in, because they will need local talent for these shows. Getting in is probably a little bit easier than it has been in the past. Staying in is a different kettle of fish. But and then what Stevie's doing, getting to like your third and fourth contract and stuff like that, that's an even harder task. But staying there's is a proper challenge.
Nah, I guess the other difficulty as well, and I'm assuming folk look at the UFC, some people have, and they look at a guy fighting the UFC and he's definitely minted then. But talk about the guy he's fighting in a minute. Mike Perry posted something interesting. I thought it's basically an MMA site who put up, they'd earned £117,000 for his fight. $117,000, and then I think the follow-up was for Mike Perry, and he says he paid $17,000 in tax for that country. Then the time paid his management, coaches, I think tax for the previous year, and then I didn't realise he would have to pay for his nose surgery. I think he said at the end of it was $6 in the bank. Does that surprise you in any way, shape or form?
No, the people don't realise the money that's coming out of that purse. They see the number. You can. I think the UFC have to disclose their purses and stuff. So you Google a guy's name, you can find out how much they've made and whatever. But then when you break that down, there's all sorts of charges coming at it and stuff. I don't know what the deal is with the nose thing. I know you usually get a month's insurance after the fight for anything, so I'd imagine the UFC will cover that. But that whatever it was, he got $117,000 isn't going to last very long when he gets the tax, like you're saying. Then his coaches take a percent, his management takes a percent, he pays for the fight camp, his diet, and whatever else. It's not a lot of money. It's why guys like him and Cerrone are fighting so often. Like they're making decent money, but to sustain the kind of lifestyle the guys are want to have, they're going to have to fight 6 times a year.
The tax he's paid as well, that isn't even including in the tax that he's got to pay at the end of the year, unless it's obviously the same like state. But I mean, I paid when I fought in America, I had to pay 30% tax straight away. Didn't even get it in my bank. It just came straight for the UFC. That was 30% after the Joe Lazon fight. And then you still have to figure out your tax. Don't get me wrong, they kind of figure it out. So when I was due to pay the tax, UK tax, like they kind of done a transition thing. But totally dodgy though, because if say I've paid 20 grand in US tax, and if I'm due 10 grand tax, so it's covered, but you didn't get the other 10 back. But obviously, if you're due 20 and you've only paid 10, you still need to pay 10, so it's a bit of a dodgy deal. Like, you would think you would get, obviously, because if you pay for your tax, like if you're self-employed and you pay your tax early just to kind of cover it, then and you've paid too much, then you would get a tax rebate. But you don't, if it's a different country, it just covers you, and that's it. And that's the deal that the US and the UK have done, and whatever else.
I think it's different everywhere, because I think it was Uruguay. It was Uruguay, wasn't it? I think you could pay 17 grand tax just there.
So he'll pay that, then he'll have to pay US tax as well. But they'll come to some sort of, I don't know what deal they've got.
Everybody wants on that Abu Dhabi card, so don't tax you.
Well,
that would be alright.
I remember that. I think the first eye opener I got for fighter pay was I was talking to Mark Hunt, and he told me what to get paid, and I was like, fucking hell, that is a good amount of money. And then he just started breaking it down for me. And see, by the end of it, I was like, because he paid a lot of money for his camp, but I think the tax still was like 50% or 49%.
Yeah, it's high. You can see
the biggest thing I think is because, don't get me wrong, the money's good, and I'll never make any of that. well, I don't think I'll ever make that sort of money anywhere else other than the UFC. So I think that's why a lot of fighters, when they're kind of like they need to be done, and folk would like to see them done, but they're probably thinking in their head, well, where else am I going to make 500k or whatever, you know, like your Frankie Edgars or whoever else, but or BJ Penn, you know, he's probably making a mint every time, and where else is he going to make that amount of money? Probably nowhere. He could make good money, but probably know the money that he's on probably. But the way the UFC do the contracts is you got a certain amount to fight. So for example, well, the standard for going into the UFC is 10 and 10, I think. I'm not sure if it's went up yet, but you get $10,000 to fight and $10,000 if you win.
Aye.
So I think that's the biggest kind of part. Especially if you build it up, you're on like 50 and 50. So, you know, it's good, but if you start kind of, especially if you're silly with money and you're not very good, like if you're not good at dealing with money, because say you're on 50 and 50, so that's $100,000 if you win, time you change it to pounds and whatever else, but if you're not taking into consideration, you've got to pay 20% of that to the tax man. Also, some, like I've done it in the past as well, start spending before I've even made it.
Aye.
And I've almost ended up in a hole a couple of times. Like I just bought my very first house. Bought my first house 3 years ago, and it was just before. What fight was that? I think it was before I fought Alan Patrick. And I was obviously expecting to get, like, because I was 3-0, I was expecting to just always get the full purse. And then obviously when I lost, I only got half it. And then I was getting bonuses when I was winning as well, so I was getting quite good paychecks. And then I lost, and then I hadn't paid tax and stuff either. And then I think I paid my tax early, and then we decided to buy the house, and we're like, right, I'll just pay my tax later or something. And then ended up, like, obviously due the tax, whatever it was, 20 grand, and never really had, you know what I mean? Because then I lost, and so I can end up a nightmare. But there's debt. Like I'd really grumble.
I guess the benefit for, especially for guys in the gym as well, for at least yourself who's not been in the UFC a while, for guys that are coming through and going up there, potentially like a miscalculation you made there. That's something you'd like to maybe say to the younger guys as well. You need to think forward plan a wee bit about that.
They should teach you that stuff in school, like tax and stuff.
I've been pretty smart with it lately. Like I've just kind of. I think the biggest thing as well is don't ever allow your partner access to it, because if not, then you're going to end up bankrupt. Especially when they see a number in the bank account, they didn't understand that a lot of that's for tax, and then the way we get paid as well. So say I had 50 grand in my bank, to the normal person that gets paid every week or every month's like, fucking hell, you're loaded. But well, you're maybe due the tax man like 20 grand at the end of the year, and then so you've got 30 grand, right? Still seems a lot of money, but if you're only fighting and that's it, you're not making any money. And say your bills are 3 grand a month, because that roughly at one point that's what I was at, 3-4 grand a month, because especially when you've got a family, you've got 2 cars, you've got a mortgage, you've got kids to pay for, whatever else, and the money's just gone down and down and down. And if you're spending 3 grand a month and you've got 30 grand in the month, 30 grand in the bank, as what? What would that be? I'm trying.
Don't ask me about maths.
Aye, sorry.
I couldn't even bring a laptop.
I was being daft there, but 10 months. So so you've got money for 10 months, but sometimes fighters go 2 years without fighting. Obviously, no all the time, but if you get injured, like Rashad Evans, I remember him when we went to the UFC performance. When they done like an athlete summit, and they were trying to educate you all about this, and Rashad Evans was one of them, where he was like, you know, he had all this stuff, and obviously he's got family, he's got bills to pay, and he was going out spending money because he knew that he was sorted and he had plenty of money, and then he had this fight lined up, and alright, I'll spend it because I'm getting this money then, and he's expecting this money, when even if it's just the show money, and then he breaks his leg or what, I can't remember what happened to him, but he got injured and he had to pull out. Then he was out for like a year after that, and that's just a year's worth of bills when you've created a kind of hefty lifestyle. Because when you've got the money there, you're going to spend it. So it's just been smart with that. Like, and even if it's even been sometimes if you didn't get injured, so say I'm completely healthy and then my opponent's injured. Oh, we can't get you. Sometimes they just didn't give you another fight. Most of the time, they'll try and get you a replacement. How does that work? If you get injured or your opponent gets injured a week out for the fight, I'm sure you didn't get paid. I don't know.
I think it's up to a certain point. Basically, it doesn't matter if you're paid for camps and that. You basically will. So I think basically, for the gist of what you're saying is just be sensible. Wait until you actually go to something else.
Then spend it until you earn it.
Is it odd check to you the way it's all structured now when you were fighting? Is there no? Or is it still similar as the UFC, just set a model?
The UFC is a different model. The shows that I fought on, like, you're obviously not getting paid the same. I fought in Cage Warriors, Bama, I fought in Cage Rage, Superior Challenge, but they were just paying you in cash at the end of the night. You're guaranteed. The day of fight, you negotiated the fee as well with the bigger shows. It wasn't like it wasn't the two checks. It was, you're fighting this guy, he's ranked number 1 in Europe, you're ranked number 2. How much will it take for the fight to happen? And then you just come to an agreement. There was no win bonus or anything like that. It was you're getting
you were getting a certain amount and that was it.
And some days, like, because even when I fought in Cage Brothers and Bama and that, say like £2,000 to fight, you got an extra 500 quid if you won. So it was kind of like that, but it wasn't like half. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm sure it's obviously some of the UFC contracts are different, but most of them are like it works like that. So you imagine when it gets up to you're on like some of the bigger guys like 250,000 to show, 250,000 to win. You lose that fight, and especially if it's a split decision. I remember when I lost to Cage and Johnson split decision, and I kind of was like, my initial thought was, "Fuck, I've just lost like that number, whatever." Then I'm not going to.
Is it worse then when the fight's that close and you're just fucking, like, especially if you feel like
if one judge was just different and he fingered it to me, I'd be, whatever, 30, 40 or whatever it is, £1,000 richer, and that's what I mean. Imagine how much worse it is when guys are on 100 to show and 100 to win. Okay, you've just lost 100 grand just because one judge, and even worse if some of the total controversial, like when you've basically won, but the judges never gave you.
So I wonder how much that's changed, because I remember back in the Zuffa days anyway, where if stuff like that happened, the UFC would.
Sometimes I think then it's like, right, you're getting your purse, and he has done that. Like he's like, you're getting your purse anyway.
With Pearson, when you get robbed with Diego Sanchez.
That's right.
Pearson thrashed him, and the judges scored it to Sanchez. I'm pretty sure Dana White's like Pearson got the win bonus.
It's because even with the fight we started talking about was obviously Mike Perry and Luque. What did you think? Because that was a split decision fight. Mike Perry lost. Did you think? I've seen a few folks saying they thought Perry won it. Obviously Luque got the split decision. Did you think it was the right call?
I thought Luque won it convincingly. I thought I could have scored at 30-27 him. 29-28 I think was cool. There's no way the other guy you can't argue that round with a nose break. I thought he was ahead up to that point. Perry looked good, but looked really good. It's the best he's looked. He looked actually. He used to just look like a scrapper and brawl and quite exciting and stuff, but you can see his game's starting to get a wee bit processed there now. You can see he's evolving. He looked. That's the best he's looked.
Do you think that shows how much?
After the fight, it was
no, that was pretty bad. Like that was. But do you think that shows what good coaching can do for a guy?
I think so. I know we were with Mike Perry in Nashville for the week, and he was actually a really cool guy. But he was jumping about with different coaches. It was when he starts Jake Ellenberger, he looked tremendous in that fight with the elbow, and then I think he was bouncing about to Jackson's and stuff, but. he seems to be with a good team just now. He looked good. He looked terrible at Jackson's when he fought Cowboy. Like he came out and I think he was shooting double leg and stuff in that fight, and he ended up getting submitted. But he looked. Lucky's a very good fighter. Like he's probably underrated. He's a super technical striker, and Perry hung with him and was making adjustments during the fight as well, which was impressive. But if he maybe never got his nose caved in like that, it may have been a wee bit different. But it was a good fight. It was the best fight of the card.
Do you hear what round it was that nose happened?
3.
It was the third.
I was a third. I was going to say, it just shows you how fucking tough he is if that happens. And like, you know, if you had to fight on with a nose like that. And that's the thing out there. There's so many people out there as well. Like I think fucking fans and whatever. Like it's not until you see a picture like that it reminds folk what we do, and that you know that could happen. And fair enough, it's no one knows like there's no injuries like that all the time. But we're getting punched in the head pretty much every week of the year in sparring, in the fight. You got all these folk that can talk, but they've probably never had a fight in their life.
I like to say to folk that I know that are into, that are not just UFC, but I say go to a regional show. Watching the UFC in the telly, you'll see it in that, but going to a regional show, you can get quite close to the cage, obviously, but you get that feel for it, you get the feel for the sound of the leg kicks, you get the feel for the impacts, and you can get a proper feel for what it's...
Blood out of you as well, I remember judging.
You don't even need to be fighting that night as well.
Blood out of me, exactly.
But I've said to a few, I've taken a few of my mates, I've taken the regional shows, you'll get a better feel for what it's like because you'll be close to the cage, you'll hear the sound, you'll hear the leg kicks. Because look, when you're on telly and you see a leg kick, sometimes you look at it and it doesn't look that bad, but when you actually see one in person or you've never felt one, it was. There was a couple of other good fights as well in that card. Ozdemir and Latifi. That was Ozdemir. He's been up and down recently. Latifi's really good fighter, solid wrestler. Did the fight go how you thought it would go in that one?
I picked Ozdemir. I think we've been his unlucky charm. We were at his last 2 fights. We were in Moncton and he got beat off Anthony Smith, and then we were in London with Dimes on the London card when he lost that decision to Dominic Reyes, which he won that fight. But I picked him and beat Latifi. I think Latifi just came on the way out. I thought he'd maybe get him early. I thought if Latifi got to about 8-9 minutes, he could maybe actually do alright against Ozdemir. He's got a tendency to get tired and gas, but he looked tremendous there. He's some new stuff in his game with the knees, his elbowing and stuff a lot better. He looked really, really good.
It was I thought Latifi might get that fight. Getting into it, I wasn't sure how Ozdemir would cope. But then I was comparing to how he fought with DC. Obviously, Latifi's not that level. And the other fight on the card, the main one, was a rematch. Actually, I didn't know Shevchenko had lost to Kermush. I didn't know that. But she took it to the decision after that brutal finish she had against in her last fight against Jessica Ai. But did you think Kermush done well?
Nah, I thought she was terrible. I thought her game plan wasn't as smart as Shevchenko's an excellent counter fighter. She's probably the best counter fighter in that division. Maybe in all the women's MMA actually. And Liz Kermush never even tried to draw the counter out or anything. She's just done nothing. There's a lot of stages there she was just kind of shadow boxing out of range, and it made the fight boring. I know that our plan obviously wasn't to lead and get countered, but it's like at some point during that somebody should have said to her, "You're done. You need to go. Like, you're going to have to change up. You got to potentially win this world title here. You've done this for 20 minutes. You're going to have to do something different in the last 5. If you watch the version there that fought Ronda Rousey, she came out like 100 mile an hour. And if you remember on that fight, she took Rousey's back and almost had the rear naked choke in. If she maybe changed up and attempted that, she could have got somewhere, but she played it really safe. She's maybe been spooked by that head kick in Shevchenko's last fight and just thought, I don't want any part of that. But the game plan she employed was never going to win her the fight. I don't know what she was thinking.
Do you think she looked contented just to get to the bell and take it to decision?
Probably. She looked like that happens. Sometimes people they just want to survive and they're there to win again. The win bonus thing we were talking about earlier doesn't really help that either. They'd rather eke out a boring win to get that double check than go in there and have a proper We're going to see who's the best. It doesn't matter about game plans, or we'll find out who's going to finish the other one. But she looked pretty happy to get to the decision, but the game plan was terrible. Coaches need somebody else have a word with them.
I saw after it, Mr. Cringe himself, Triple C, Henry Cejudo, coming out and saying he wants to be the first intergender world champion. I don't know whether I like him or I don't like him, but he's interested anyway. What do you make of that? I'm calling out Shevchenko. I guess it's equal rights and all that stuff now, but I don't know if I like that, surely.
That one, I don't think that will ever
that would.
It would be far too. You just couldn't do it. But see, to be honest though, I guarantee there'd be a surprise sometimes. Like cross gender, like I guarantee you, some women would be able to beat the shit out of some of the men. Like I could quite see Joanna. I can't even say her second name. Aye. But I bet she'd be able to smash some men and
smash Cal Murray.
But it's never going to happen.
No, it's a bit. I think I don't know what he's playing at. He's obviously.
He's just sitting in the house watching the fight, thinking, "I want attention." It's the same as Conor. If you look at his tweets, every time there's a fight, he tweets something to keep his name out.
I guess when see sometimes like when you get so much attention like after a fight and that, and then what I can't remember what if it's the dopamine or I can't remember the actual name for it, but just. It's the same with me, like after a fight my phone goes mental for like 2 days, 3 days even, and especially the kind of 24 hours after it, it's hard to sleep, anything, and then obviously as it starts to wear off, so that's probably what's happened, like he's getting all this attention, he's won the belt, and then there's no all this messages and attention anymore, and he just
not talking about me.
Need to get in the limelight. So I don't think they mean it. I think it's just a normal thing. You see it all over the world. Mayweather's one of them. You know, when he's not fighting anymore. When Pacquiao was going to fight, or when what's the Triple G and Canelo. Like everybody's speaking about that. Who's going to win? And it's almost like you could see a bit of jealousy coming out of Mayweather. And I can't remember what he wrote. He said something, but I think just.
I see Mayweather as well. He's dipped his toe into MMA in terms of management. He's signed an MMA fighter, one fighter. Do you think it's a bit of a stunt, or do you think he's serious about it?
I think he maybe. Well, Oscar De La Hoya done it as well, didn't he?
What's the
money to be made? Then if they see, they're not daft.
Oscar De La Hoya made a complete and utter. He absolutely made an arse of it. I was trying not to say cunt there, but I've said it anyway. Made a cunt of it, let's be honest. It was an absolute disaster.
He was coked to the gills up on that podium, mispronouncing all the names. And I don't think he knew much. He knew Tito Ortiz, and that was about it.
He didn't do him any favours putting Tito and Chuck on. I mean, nobody MMA fans wanted to see that.
It was just for.
It's just a money grab,
exactly.
It's just that's exactly what it is. It's a money grab. But just before we finish up, we've got some questions coming mainly for you, to be honest, Stevie. They're actually all for you, just about.
Cool.
So the first one's for a familiar name, James Nimmy. So he's asking, is the grappling scene something you want to get involved in post MMA? So do you want to do more grappling in your MMA career?
I wouldn't mind even doing it during it as well. It wasn't until recently, like I think I'd done the Edinburgh Open or something, and somebody was like, "Oh, I never knew you were into the grappling scene." I'm like, I do it every day. Like I grapple every. Like, what do you think I go and do at training? And then I loop choked somebody. I loop choked Jack Brown, quite a high level grappler, and then there's people saying after it, "Oh, I never knew you knew gi stuff." I'm like, I'm a BJJ purple belt. Like, you need to, you can't just get a purple belt for having a no gi game. I have to. But I'd definitely like to compete a bit more. And then I said to James as well, like, once I'm done with MMA, because I sometimes think to myself, like, if I'm done with the UFC, like, once my career's kind of done with the UFC, because you don't ever know how it's going to go. Obviously, my next fight, I could win, I could lose, I could win it, and I could have 10 more fights after it, 20 more fights, get in the top 10, maybe become champion, or I could lose, and that's me. Like, you just literally then again. It's quite scary actually thinking about that, but grappling's. I'd like to, like, if I'm done with MMA, I'd like to try and be the best grappler and like in the world, and try and kind of focus towards that. It's tough at the moment trying to obviously do that, because if you're trying to compete at the highest level in grappling while I'm still doing MMA, you know, the grappler's doing just jiu-jitsu and that's it, and I've obviously, I'm still doing wrestling and striking and everything else. So and you've seen it. I mean, we've got some guys that come in and they're only doing grappling at my gym at home and then here as well, and their level just goes up far quicker than you see an MMA guy, because that's all they're doing. They're coming in, they're just.
And again, another name you might recognise, might know, Adam Hill. Adam Hill's right. He's asking how you balance everything. So obviously training here, your own gym, coaching, and then obviously family life, and it's your family life's obviously going to get a bit bigger.
So that's one of the kind of hardest things that's going on in my life, because I'm still in the UFC and I should be training how a top athlete should. I've got a family as well, and then I've got my own business kind of gym, and it's really hard to kind of manage, because it was kind of forced upon me though. Like, I feel like I was just I maybe didn't have to do that, like, because when I lost to Felder, that was the first time I'd ever been knocked out. So I was in a dark place for that. The fact that I'd just first been knocked out, and it was in Scotland in front of like 13,000 Scots all over the TV, whatever else. Like, that's shit enough alone. Never mind it being the end of my contract, and me not realising at that time that, you know, you might not get another contract. You know, that's the kind of risk that you've played here, and I didn't know that at that time. And that was obviously with the other manager I was with at that time, that, you know, maybe partly his fault as well, because but anyway, what was the question again?
I don't know how you balance everything.
So anyway, once I've done that, and I was kind of sitting there for a couple of months, no knowing what was going on, I started the gym. And and like I said, it just built for there. And then I know it's hard, because it's like sometimes I wish I didn't have the gym. Like, sometimes I wish, fucking.
But it's a bit
of safety. I wish I never had it, because it's like I want to train how I should be training, and then it's just a pain in the arse sometimes. But at the same time, sometimes I'm like, I really like coaching, so it's kind of hard. But it's really tough, like, because I don't know if I've got to come and train, but there's been times where, like, I've got a good kind of solid team now. At Braveheart, I've got guys that help out and stuff, but I can't really rely on them to just keep helping out. Unless obviously I can start paying guys and that, but there's no even, you know, it's no great money kind of just doing the coaching, unless you build it up and you're doing PTs and everything else. But I mean, I'm only coaching, I'm only doing like 2 classes, and obviously the rent and everything else. It's tough, and sometimes, you know, I might have a class covered. Like, there's been a couple of times I've got a kids class covered, and I'm coming through here, and then all of a sudden, I can't do the kids class or something. I'm like, shit, well, that's my responsibility.
So
there's going to be 30 kids sitting outside the gym, and sometimes parents just drop them off. They think the class is on, and just drop them off, leave them in the car park. So, but the kind of full answer to that question, it's a right pain in the arse, to be honest. But I like it, and there's advantages, there's disadvantages. Especially while I'm still fighting. I kind of look forward to the day that, it sounds weird, but I look forward to the day that I'm no fighting for that aspect there. So I can proper coach, I can put in the proper time. Because I feel like I'm half-arsing it sometimes, the coaching, but then I've got to remember what my real job is in it as well. So it's really tough.
And we've got one for Jamie Gardner, who's, I'm assuming there's somebody that trains at the gym.
He's one guy that trains me, he's a blue belt.
And he's asking, is Robbie Flew Stevie Ray's top wrestler?
I don't know, because when we done a wee tournament not that long ago back, and Reese managed to beat him, so he's got to prove himself.
He's got to up his game.
He works offshore now as well, so Robbie's got a lot of potential, but he works offshore, so it's hard for him to come out. Like, he gets in, he just starts getting like real good, and then he goes away, and he's away for like 6 weeks. And
the offshore thing's tough, folks. There's a few guys like Paul McBain, because the guys offshore are making really good money.
And then you make fuck all for the.
Even if you're fighting like Cage Warriors and that, you're making. You're not.
It's not enough to just live off it. No. Like, it's good pocket money, but.
And we've got one more question for Taylor McDonald. This one was for Instagram. He's asking, who's the hardest opponent you fought in the UFC, and what would your dream fight be? And we'll end on this one.
The hardest opponent I've fought in the UFC, but I would have to kind of say the two guys that knocked me out. I never really got a chance to get into both the fights, you could say. Felder, I felt comfortable. I need to go back and watch that fight. I've not watched that in a while. Obviously, it's not a very good memory to go and watch back, but I might actually go and watch that back soon. Because I remember being in that fight. I remember it feeling comfortable. I was in the clinch. I felt strong. And then next thing I'm getting woken up, and I remember saying, "The fuck, the ref stopped it early," and being a bit unaware of what actually happened. And then I watch it back and I see that I'm fucking.
To be fair, that was a nice. It was
the knee that put me out, and obviously I was out, and he's kind of, and then I woke up. So I should have got stopped right after the knees, really, but and then he's given me a couple of elbow slippers after that. I got a good wee scar for it as well. So that, and then the Leonardo Santos. I never even got into that fight. I just started getting in my rhythm, and apart from the fact that I fucking kind of broke my rib during that camp, but apart from that, like, I kind of healed. It was a big, huge worry 5 weeks before the fight. Something really dodgy happened to my rib. I went to hospital, and they said they couldn't tell me it was definitely broke, but they said that it looked like it was broken, especially with what was going on. So there was we had to really work around that. Like, I couldn't really grapple for a few. I was just doing striking only, and that. And, it wasn't totally ideal, but going into the fight, I did feel really good, and just started getting into the kind of rhythm after taking a couple of kind of kicks. Felt loose, felt comfortable, and then the next thing again, I'm getting woken up. So, twice is not the end of the world. I've had 39 fights, and there's twice that's happened.
So gave me a playbook on it.
That's it.
And who would the dream matchup be in the UFC for the roster?
Dream matchup. It would have to be fighting McGregor, with all the talk, and then you get all the people pretending they're my pals, probably sucking up my arse and whatever else. But McGregor, because I'd be red panty night as well.
Well, that's it.
Just anybody that's going to come and fight. There's loads of fights I'd like, loads of rematches and stuff as well. But
who would you like to see Stevie fight? Is there anybody in particular you that's say quite high ranked that you'd like to see Stevie in there with?
I always liked Eddie Pettis. Before he moved back up, I thought Pettis would have been cool. He's a good fighter and stuff.
Pettis at 170.
He's fighting 170 again.
The second fight, maybe not to Wonder Boy.
I didn't even think he was big for 170.
No, he went to the featherweight, mate.
He missed for about 3 pounds. Oh, but he went up to 170 and knocked out Wonder Boy.
He was getting doing in that fight, yeah.
Oh, aye.
He was getting pieced up in that fight.
I'd like to fight him. No, anybody that's going to come and bang, there's loads of folk I'd love to fight.
But then it's a 170 fight. Well, let's be honest, it's Nate and Pettis. It's 2:55. Really, they've just agreed to move up weight for the fight. You know what I mean? And Nate's not fought in what?
3 years.
Nate's not fought in 3 years, so you don't. Obviously, Nate trains like an animal all the time, but there's no substitute for actually being in there and fighting.
It's the same as when Diaz beat McGregor. You know, everybody was going on, oh, he got beat off a 170 guy, though. It's like, no, they're both 155. Just that fight was at 170.
Aye.
But
no. And just last quick thing I wanted to mention. I believe have you got a football team in here on Saturday? Tom Heffernan messaged me last night.
It's 4 Saturdays, I think, with jiu-jitsu with Danny, like one of the black belts he was taking.
Right.
I think he's got quite a good kind of 4-week plan for them. That should be pretty cool.
So that's just getting all the young boys in here to experience it.
I think the gist is they're trying different things, like different activities and stuff, and
sort of team building thing, sort of almost.
It'll be cool, man. It'll be very cool. We've got the kids class in here since October. They've just done their first interclubs and stuff for this year, and it's such a good activity for kids. Mm-hmm. It's like, in particular, that martial art, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is probably the best one for kids.
It should be quite controlled when you're rolling. You can go quite hard without. Yeah. Obviously, there's always risks, but it is out of all the everything that's safe and comparable to wrestling and that.
The biggest risk is probably just the fact that who you're teaching it to sometimes that they go fucking because that's always been the kind of.
That's the difference with Fife and Bathgate.
That's been the.
I've heard some stories.
I've heard some folk questioning that, like whether like obviously,
you shouldn't be teaching.
What age should you get? What should they get taught jokes and stuff?
It's one of the ones, but what sort of things do you avoid teaching them? Do you avoid teaching them leg locks and stuff where they could really or anything that they can do?
We kind of tried to follow the IBJJF rules for kids, which kept away from certain submissions and stuff. But all our kids, they'll guillotine, triangle, rear naked choke. The first submission we normally teach them is an armbar. Kids' limbs are different from adults, so it has to be reasonably technical to catch it and stuff. But we stay away from the chokes early doors until we can trust the kid. Once you know the kid's kind of character and personality, we start introducing some of the more dangerous stuff. You
didn't know how to teach me any of that when I was in that's the way I think about it as well. I'm like, if I knew one of the jokes when I was younger, I'd probably be in the jail. You need to teach them the consequences of their moves as well. Like if you keep this on, rear naked choke, they're going to pass it, and then eventually pass away.
That's it. But no, I just wanted to mention that because Tom had said. Well, I think that's us. We've got questions and we'll wrap up there. Thanks for coming on, Stevie. It sounds like you're going to have a wet drive back up to 5. But cheers for coming on, mate.
Cheers for